Hey guys, this is Joe. Just an opening statement before the Smitty show. Yeah, so actually, Scott is working today, and basically why I'm doing this is letting you guys know about our Patreon. This Sunday, June 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific, we are doing a chat for our patrons, and it's open, and who knows what we'll talk about. We're just going to see where it goes, and anyone who is a patron is going to get a Zoom link and can join us. And we're going to be doing that monthly. And it's really important for us because we just, yeah, I mean, we're putting everything we got into this. And, we could, we are aligned with other companies. You can go down below our links and check all kinds of cool stuff out. But we just want to keep doing this at a level that we can. But right now, there's other projects that we have to work on, and Scott, actually, he's doing some construction, and his back is not perfect, let's put it that way. So it just how do I say this, it would be great if he didn't have to do that. So I mean, look, everybody's going through stuff, we understand that, but we've this has become a full-time thing for us, and we definitely would like to keep it that way, at least through the rest of the year. I mean, we're all waiting for XRP or silver, something to go up. So, but until then, things are really tight. I mean, we just, we could really use the support. Well, I'll just put it that way. I'll be doing a different video about more specifics, but anyway. All right, well, enjoy this interview. Smitty's awesome. I'm releasing my new song Lifting Veils in July on Sound Alive Records, and have a video in the works that's animated, and a lot of cool stuff happening. So, all right, without further ado, here's TruthStream with Smitty. Cheers.
Welcome to TruthStream. We are here with Smitty today from Sound Alive Records, and we're going to be going into not only some information about the music world, but also what's going on in the world, preparedness, because it sounds like the storm is pretty much here, and we're excited to have him. My first release with his company, Sound Alive Records, was Freedom Now in 2021, and I'll be releasing my new song Lifting Veils as well with him, and we'll get into that later. But Smitty, welcome, and let's dig into what the heck is going on in the world right now.
Well, first of all, man, happy Father's Day to all the amazing fathers out there, and raising and nurturing and coaching the next generation. I got a little bit of Prosecco here, to toast to you guys. Very nice. Toast to all the fathers out there. All right. Sorry, I had to add that in there.
No, that's great. Absolutely.
Man, I've just been doing my thing. I've been working on the blockchain. I'm working with N-Chain. I'm working on the BSV blockchain right now, and I'm building awesome things for the music industry that's going to change the way that we get paid, and the way that we monetize our music, and the way that we, as artists, musicians, especially independent artists and musicians, producers, bands, the way that we go about and do our business is going to be much more transparent and much more fair. But before we even get into that, I definitely want to discuss a little bit about what's been going on, current events, maybe some of the intel that we've been coming across. We've been hearing across the airwaves. Joe, talk to me. I mean, what have you seen like lately in your area?
Well, it looks like, what's cool about Telegram is, there's a lot of communication going on between people we've either interviewed or whatever. And there's some military movement going on. And I think Kabbalah Guru was just on this morning and said there was either in 23 or 27 states right now, there's military movement going on. That's the first thing I can think of out of the gates.
A lot of military activity,
yeah,
for sure. But, there was a lot of things from Trump's speech after his indictment, yeah, which was kind of an awesomely Trump move.
I love it.
Yeah, he mentioned that this indictment really opens Pandora's box. And I believe that's a reference to the Pandora Papers. Mike Gill, sorry, I had to get the name right. Mike Gill talked about that. He said all the evidence to throw them all in jail forever or bury them under the jail is in the Pandora Papers, and he had supplied this evidence to the Trump people who said that they already had it, and he was very frustrated. Like, why isn't he using it? Well, it looks like that's about to happen, and everything's a chess game with this guy, so timing must be right. But I think there's more than enough evidence to suggest that it's time to fasten your seatbelts and put your trays in the upright position, or your seats in the upright position, and
yeah,
we're going for a ride.
How about you, Smitty? What are you hearing? Because you've been in the entertainment world 23 years, and you've met a lot of people, so you're hearing from many sources. What are you hearing lately?
Well, I'm not just hearing it from my regular sources, and which I have many of them. And just a brief background. My grandmother, who brought me to the United States from South America, was actually Secretary of Commerce for Jimmy Carter. So she was a pretty well-known woman. She was the first woman to do a lot of things. And so I still have like various contacts and people who even contact me and just through my grandmother. And, through the intel I'm receiving is that we are like in the precipice of the storm. Like, the storm's been going on. I think the storm actually enacted, I think, around between 2016 and 2019 before COVID. I think we had the real storm. But I think right now the storm has moved from the coast of the Virgin Islands to the to the port of Miami. It's coming mainland now.
Right.
And the beautiful part about it is for us who have been in the knowing and understanding and watching things unravel, but also doing the hard work, man, because it is hard work. Because if you think about it, man, your job is basically to stay in tune with everything while everyone calls us crazy. And every day we can kind of hang our hat on the coat hanger or the hook every day and feel a little bit better about ourselves. Like, hey, I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. I think we're really, really close, and so close to the point. I think we're within weeks to days to months. To minutes to hours of some serious things happening. Now, I don't want to give you a false narrative or anything like that, but speculation that I've heard from my sources is very similar to many sources that I follow, and it goes as such. We have the world, and we knew that at one point the entire world and the militaries of the world would act and strike for that final blow and for the final takedown and for the public to see, what's really going on and what's really been going on for the last 7 years. And I think we are right there at the precipice of this final straw. And I'm expecting some kind of a hack on our internet. I'm expecting blackouts. I'm expecting, some sort of event. I don't like to call it false flag because, everyone uses that word as like a conspiracy word, but that's really what it is. But we're at kind of like the ending of the movie, the last ditch effort of the cabal to actually enact or try to save their butts, which obviously, they're done already. But, there's a few players out there that's still doing their things. And I think that we're going to see some drastic changes. We might not be able to access our money. We might not be able to go to the grocery store. We're seeing a lot of extra activity in as far as like in the mainland of the United States, military wise. They're moving around. Joe Biden or whoever, Joe B. Biden, is not talking about this. So, we're not being told. The normies aren't being told. We kind of we're figuring. And I think if you know how the story goes, there's going to be like a big scare event, and possibly I think it could be maybe some sort of World War III scare event, or something that's going to bring everyone together and kind of wake up these people who are still refusing to wake up. And I'm telling you, I would say over 40% to maybe half the population is still kind of in a coma. And I don't think it's like a coma where you're asleep. I think it's where you refuse to accept. And now I think that's a stage of truth. I think it's like maybe the second or third stage of truth, refusal to accept. But either way, it still doesn't help our cause, and it doesn't help move things along. And I think that it's necessary. So I mean, as much of a pain in the butt as it is for everyone who's like been following and who's woken to it and been called a conspiracy theorist, for so many years, it's like we still got this one final battle here. And I think now is the time for everybody to meditate, to take a deep breath, and then make an accurate list of supplies and needs that you and your loved ones and your family might need for like the next, I would say prepare at minimum for 2 weeks, at maximum for 2 or 3 months, because we don't know how long this thing could go on. Now, from what we've been told, and what 17 says, it's going to be, anything uprising will be handled very quickly. It's going to be, the iron fist is coming down. So I would say, if you are stuck in some of the major cities, that, make sure you're prepared, make sure that you follow the guidelines. If they do declare martial law or something like that, don't be stupid. Don't try to fight the military. Don't be in the streets after curfew, simple things like that. Secure yourself, secure your belongings, enjoy yourself. And I'll tell you what, if you have things that you can trade, that'll make things even better, because it may be a period of time where you have to do a little bit of trading. Most valuable goods are going to be like cheap liquor, because, you can use that for anything. It's got many different purposes. I would say like rice, non-perishables like beans and stews and tuna. And, if you've got pets, you got dog food. Right now, you can go down to the Lidl around my way and get a 5-gallon jug of water for like $3.99. So just buy up tons of those things. If you've got water filtration devices, hold on to that. Matches, batteries, lights, things of that nature, like, prepared. And I don't want to tell people to like go out and stock up on ammo and all that and then be labeled some kind of crazy guy. But you do whatever you have to do to protect yourself and your loved ones. And just be smart. And when the military comes in, let them do their job. Let them do what they need to do. And note, be the voice of calmness in the times of panic and chaos, because you're probably going to see a lot of chaos going on. You're going to see people acting crazy, losing their minds. I mean, people lost their minds over COVID. So I feel like, be a voice of peace, and a voice of calm, and a voice of logic. We be logical, and things, we'll get through this. We have to go through this. So we have to go through it. Right. It's the final step. And it's just basically the public knowing and seeing what's really going on, and accepting it. And then we're moving forward as we, come into a much better place. And I don't like to use the term Nasara Jasara, but I do, from my research and my studies, I 1000% believe it's real. There's a couple of currencies I would be holding on to. I would say, third world country currencies, and then maybe there's 2 or 3 cryptocurrencies that might do something fantastic in the future. I don't want to give advice as far as that, because it's changed so much. And then you see the people who are behind some of these projects, and you look at them, and some of them you can't tell what side they're on, because everybody's kind of, playing good cop, bad cop right now. So it's confusing time, man, but it's the fog of war. Right. So I think it's intentional, and I think it's normal, and I can accept that. But, take your chances. Think of it like this, man. If you're playing craps, you're going to put your chips on one number, or are you going to put it on a few different numbers, a few corners, two different colors, your odds and your evens, just kind of throw your chips around and take a few calculated risks. And something's bound to do something, you know what I mean?
Yep. Now I know you're not a financial advisor. Do you care to say maybe a couple of the either ISO coins or the digital assets that you like? Because some people don't even know that.
I hold some HBAR, I hold some XRP. Let me think. What else do I hold? I've got a little bit of Filecoin. But then as far as, what I'm building on the blockchain, and that's the difference right now, man. We're talking about cryptos. Well, blockchain is so much different because we're talking about something that has actual value and utility and building applications that'll be used in everyday life and so forth, and like completing the internet of value. We're talking about, IPv6, which is, Internet Protocol version 6, and which, my buddy who I just did a panel with in London at London Blockchain, he was basically telling us that 50% of the population is already using IPv6 and they don't even know it. They're unaware of it. So, I mean, I think the big bet is going to be in the utility and the blockchain. And if you bet on something that's going to be used, like, let's say you were an early internet pioneer back in the day, and everyone was saying, well, you don't need the internet. We've got letters and we've got pictures and we've got telephone. We don't need email. We don't need, they called these people crazy. But what happened? The internet actually became a thing, and then it became mainstream. So blockchain is going to take over everything. We're going to have blockchain elections. We're going to have blockchain currency. We're going to have everything that's going to be on the blockchain because it's more secure, it's more private, and you can do P2P, which is peer-to-peer. So it's like, if I give you $10, I'm giving you $10. It's not going to the bank and then going to the central bank and then going to the Fed and then going to the Treasury and then back into your hand. You know what I mean? I give you something, you get it. You give me something, I receive it. So anything that has a strong blockchain is what I would say. Now, I don't know a whole lot about other tokens, but I do know that the blockchain I'm working on, which is the Bitcoin SV or Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, which is also based off of the original white paper for Bitcoin, is a very, very solid blockchain, lightning fast transactions, and at the same token, built for enterprise and for maybe new governments as far as being able to have secure data and to have unhackable interface. Because what we're dealing with now, as you can see, from our elections to the Dominion voting machines to ballot stuffing and all these different things that we've seen go on, there's got to be a better way, and the better way is blockchain. And for people who don't understand what blockchain is, it's basically a series of letters and numbers, random. They can be uppercase, lowercase, plus numbers, followed by each other, in a sequence, I would say, of 26 characters or more, and that will replace kind of like the traditional, digits. You have a phone number, it's 9 digits. You have a bank account, what is it? I think it's 9 digits too, or is it between 9 and 13 digits?
Yeah, something like
you have
that.
a routing number, and they're all numbers. There's no letters involved in there, so it makes it easier to hack. You know what I mean? It's less secure. So with this new technology, and somebody would think about it and be like, duh, like eureka, that makes sense. But I mean, it took this long for people to kind of like really grasp it, and now people starting to actually understand it. So I mean, as far as tokens go, I don't really look at tokens anymore. I don't check my wallet. I don't even really buy crypto like that, honestly. I'm just looking at ways that I can invest into blockchain. because I know it's going to replace all the technology that we have right now. And I know that it's going to do amazing things as far as moving forward in the future. And it's going to enable people to, send and receive money quickly, also have their privacy back. And then at the same token, in the music industry, it's going to do amazing things as well.
Very cool. Do you have anything off the top of your head?
Well, I was just thinking about kind of a big moment for XRP. The new ISO standard is going to be in place on the 19th, and it looks like Garlinghouse was just on with kind of an interesting message, but it would look like the lawsuit is finally coming to an end. Gary Gensler, I think, has been ousted, which isn't a good look for the prosecution, but then again, they just gave Sam Bankman-Fried a pass, dropped the charges.
That's why I don't understand it. It's so
yeah,
confusing.
Go either way, but I feel pretty confident that XRP being a big earmark, a big part of the QFS to come, that rapid development is probably signaling, much like Trump's comment on the Pandora Papers and so on, that we're there. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too, man. Either way, like I said, I've got my my eggs in a few different baskets, and I nothing against XRP. I love XRP, and I'm a huge supporter of the XRPL. But I tried to build on the ledger, and was unsuccessful. I applied for a job at Ripple and got turned down. It's pretty crazy, man. That they wouldn't put somebody that has the brains, the wit, the power, and the influence to help catapult this thing to the next level. Because I'll tell you, for almost 12 months, I was the top XRP influencer in the world, and it's mind-boggling. But either way, man, it's I don't really, like I said, man, it's really strange.
Yeah.
But I tried that. I tried HBAR. I like HBAR too. HBAR is pretty cool, man. Hedera hash graph. It's a little different. Instead of using letters, they use hashes, or the little dots and numbers for their coding and stuff like that. That's cool. I for a very brief time, I mingled with the Algorand community. They have a lot of enterprise and big things going on, but I felt kind of like they're a little bit behind too. So I mean, to each his own, man. There'll be a couple options. I don't think that there'll be one in particular. I don't think that there'll be more than 5 or 10 total. So we're gonna see we're gonna see a lot of these coins, and a lot of these currencies are gonna go to zero, and the ones that stay afloat. And it's really confusing for me is because you see a guy like David Schwartz, and I'm friends with him on Twitter or whatever. We're cool, but his views are polar opposite of what the people of truth and the people of consciousness, what they want and what they want to do. I don't know if you've ever seen him tweet on Twitter. I mean, sometimes you just scratch your head. You're like, what is this guy talking about? You know what I mean?
Well, he came from DARPA. I mean, that's it's quite a background.
And Bitcoin too, didn't he? He was big.
I've heard that. I haven't confirmed that, but
Right.
it's
supposedly he's one of the original architects of Bitcoin.
Right. That was my point.
But there's 2 Bitcoins we're talking about now. We have the Bitcoin, which is BTC, which is the store of value, and which has been extremely perverted as far as its use. You know what I mean?
We heard that BTC could have even stood for baby trading coin. I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Exactly. We don't know, but we do know that Bitcoin, I call it shitcoin, BTC, it doesn't even have its own ability to make, quick transactions. You have to go to the Lightning Network, which is not even on chain. It's not even on the blockchain. And then as far as mining a block of Bitcoin, BTC, it's 4 megabytes of data, as opposed to the Bitcoin that I'm working with right now, the BSV, and we're 4 gigabytes a block, and we are fractions of a second for transactions and so forth. So, I mean, there's a huge war going on right now between, I would say, some of the blockchains and cryptocurrencies, and it's really going to all come down to utility and so forth. And you know what I don't want people to think is that XRP is going to like come and save the day, but I don't want people to think that any other token is going to come and save the day, or any other blockchain, because at the end of the day, we really don't know. And so all we can do is speculate. And it's hard for me to actually make a decision on everything right now until I see how things kind of unfold. I want to see the end of the case, or I want to see the decision. I want to see how this affects other currencies. I mean, we've got Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin and what they're doing, and you know how they're not a security, but other tokens are supposedly securities. I have no idea, you know, and they had an IPO, you know. So it's like it's very confusing for the regular average person to look at these facts and to try to piece everything together. And you know, a lot of talk.
I was going to say it's even confusing for those of us that have been looking at this and studying this and talking about, like, we still don't know, and a lot of topics, frankly.
Well, I mean, XRP is obviously really utility driven, but you know, I don't see it as a currency. I don't see it as you know, you go shopping with your XRP. It's for cross border payments. It's for you know, lightning fast settlement. You know, it's you know, it's a tool in the toolbox, but I think it is the tool in that it's already been adopted for all these structures that have been built, you know, as the core framework for the QFS. Lots of things are going to perform in different ways, but this is like the cylinders in the engine kind of a thing. It's got that kind of utility. I don't think we're going to interface with it like we would, you know, Bitcoin or whatnot. And I think Bitcoin's doomed just because of its primitive nature. You know, it's you have to mine it. That's not very green. You know, we're just burning through a bunch of energy for, you know, a novel concept. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Agree.
I think there's, yeah, we got to tip our hat to Bitcoin a little bit for what it, you know, kind of paved the way for a lot of people in their thinking. But
do remember that we have a limited supply of XRP. So
yep.
The value of XRP can either go all the way up, or it can just kind of remain where it's been, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that we won't know until we actually see what happens here with the whole scene. But like I said, either way, man, I'm trending up as far as you know, my excitement about blockchain technology and you know, where things are headed. I think the XRPL could be used in a much greater fashion than it's being used right now. I think right now Ripple is kind of just, you know, making agreements with financial institutions as far as using their technology. I think Ripple and XRP are two different technologies, and I think that people have to understand that as well. And when they have their full understanding for what's going on here, I've used XRP, and I can tell you right now, it's lightning fast. You know, as a currency, it works amazingly as a currency. As a blockchain, I haven't seen the same functionality, and that's because I haven't seen any legitimate projects come out of the XRPL that actually solve day-to-day problems, and that can be used besides in a financial way. Besides being like a currency or replacing, like, you know, fiat or something like that, which obviously in itself is a major utility. But I feel like also when we're talking about blockchain, we want to be able to solve all kinds of problems in today, because there's so many different ways that we can take control of our data, and there's so many different ways that we can take back the power and we can own our data. So rather than like opening up a Gmail account, you know, what if we had, you know, BSV mail or XRP mail, where you own your email, not Gmail, not Google, not a third party, you know what I mean? Where you actually directly have ownership of your email? What if you had ownership of your internet? What if you got paid to flush your toilet? What if you got paid to run your water? What if, you know what I mean? There's so much involved here in blockchain, and so much power that can be given back to the people. And that's why, you know, I really believe in social impact. I believe in peer-to-peer transactions, which is like, you know, privacy without having a third party snooping in, without banks, without you know, intermediaries. The same thing goes for music as well, man, you know. And I think that either way, the truth is going to find the surface. And if I'm on top of the truth, and if I'm right there, I'll be very happy with that. If I find out that, you know, the truth is somewhere else, I'll be happy as well, as long as I can find it. And I think this is one of the things where it's kind of got to play out to really find the answer. So unfortunately, you know, I don't have like the final call or the final answer for everybody, but I do have a lot of faith in it, and I know that we're on the right path. You know, we're knocking at the right doors. It's just which door opens first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last point on XRP that I think is rather noteworthy is that Garlinghouse and Schwartz attended a meeting with Christine Lagarde and Klaus Schwab, but in Antarctica. And
so we've heard.
Well, no, I mean, that's been confirmed over and over. But there aren't any other crypto guys, you know, taking those kinds of meetings. That tells me there's a significance.
I'll put it to you like this, though. You have other blockchains out there like LCX, and you have my brother Monty Metziger, and he basically was like, you know, set up and did a speech and is like, you know, all entangled with the World Economic Forum. So I mean, everybody is kind of moving in, and what I think is happening, and this is just my speculation, you know, quote unquote speculation. I feel like the old systems have already died, and now they're basically being taken over by the new technologies and by the people who are prepared and ready to come in and handle the new system and implement their technology to replace the old technology. So I think the old guys, like I said, they're already gone, and now it's just kind of like a fight over, you know, who's gonna. And if you look at it, there's no way these guys are still operating as far as you know, when we talk about, you know, Klaus Schwab and George Soros and then the World Economic Forum and, you know, NATO and all these different, you know, branches of so-called world government. You know, I don't think that they're operating in the same manner or existence that they used to. I think that they may still exist, but they've been taken over by the white hats. And so we're going to see, like, you know, all the changes and so forth. And like I said, man, I think only time will tell, you know?
Right. I think how they're being portrayed as well in the news is also to help wake up people and to start, you know, getting at least dissatisfied or questioning or pissed off.
It's hard for people because when you tell somebody that they've been duped, you know, and then they find out they've been duped, it's like, you know, their whole world goes crashing down because they've built all of their belief system off of one belief. They're like, oh, well, if the vaccines, you know, are unsafe and, you know, the mRNA technology is causing blood clots and, you know, heart attacks and strokes and, blood, you know, all kinds of different ailments and so forth, then once they finally accept that, then they're looking at it and they're like, well, you know, can I trust my doctor? Can I trust the food that we eat? Can I trust this? And we want them to do that. We want them to question everything. And naturally, we question everything. I question everything since I was a kid, and I enjoy doing it. I love it. Why believe something? Why blindly follow something? That is the mindset and the mentality and the consciousness of a slave. If you're not a slave, you question, you research, and you find. And you know, obviously, when I get information from other people who are like, you know, conscious and logical and they're here, like, you know, they're here, they're down here on planet Earth, You know, there's certain things like info you can get from them and you can believe it. But just remember, it's easier to fool a man than to tell a man that he's been fooled.
That's right. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's not my
that,
quote, by the way. I think that's Thomas Edison.
yeah, I can't remember, but that sounds about right. But yeah, I think that's why it's so hard for people to believe that. I mean, they're going to be thinking, wait a second, this Q, this 17, this Trump, this conspiracy, like all that is actually what's going on. And I was doubting all these. That's a lot to take for someone that, I mean, come on, if you just look at the JFK assassination and you're not quite, you really think that was one bullet. You look at 9/11. I mean, planes, if they were even planes, I've even heard there's CGI. You know, when I saw what is it? There's one called, I think, Scientists for Truth 911. But when I saw loose change, it was like 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was really obvious to me that
Same here, brother.
nothing.
And my birthday's 9/11.
Yeah.
So I woke up on my 20th birthday, and I was getting phone calls from people telling me to, you know, turn on the TV and look at the World Trade Center getting, you know, demolished. And the crazy thing is my dad worked across the street on the 44th floor, right across from the World Trade Center. On that day, he was in Chicago, and so he didn't have to go through it. But apparently, the demolition or the whatever was going off, the bombs, the explosions were so intense that they blew out all the office windows of the building parallel to the World Trade Center as it was, you know, as the demolition was happening and so forth. Anybody who refutes those facts or the truth, I feel like they really don't get it, man. And you know, I don't know how long it can continue. The lie can continue, but it will, as long as until it's really uncovered. You know, because if you talk about it, you're crazy. If you mention it, if you bring it up, if you point out the facts. So I kind of stop. I step back from that, man. Just because it's more exhausting trying to show people and teach people than it is.
It is. It does.
To just kind of like let them, you know, figure it out or not figure it out. And really, I don't think that's my job. I think I'm here to, you know, give people a way to think positively and kind of uplift their minds and their thinking and so forth, and think logically to where eventually one day they might be able to see things the same way that we see them. So I mean, it's kind of step-by-step coaching, and you know, you can't tell people things, you can't even show them things nowadays, because we've been going through this movie for what, 2.5, 3 years now, and people still don't get it. You know, they still don't get it, and it's not my problem or your problem. You know, they just don't get it. But the beautiful thing is that we get it, and that we know a lot of people who get it, and that the majority, I would say the majority of the people understand it to some degree. And I think we're at a point now where change can really happen, as far as like in our day-to-day lives and every day, in what we see in our interactions with people, and the way that we do commerce, and the way that we think, the way that government is created by the people, for the people. And we kind of, you know, we are the government. We become the government. We replace our government as people, as humans, as, you know, community, rather than a bunch of people who, you know, are just in it for kickbacks and you know, working for, you know, a puppet for another person or another branch or another elite or something to that extent. So I think we're really close, and I think that now things can actually change. And if you asked me this like 10 years ago, I was hopeless. Well, not hopeless, but I was like looking at it like, no. I mean, no. I felt like we were really, like, the attack that people are about to feel right now when their phone doesn't work, their internet's out, and their TV doesn't turn on or whatever, is the attack that I felt and that we felt in 2000, I want to say starting in like early 2000 all the way to like 2014, 2015 before Trump took office. And, you know, it was a very scary time for me. And a lot of that weight lifted when Trump was elected because we knew that somebody different had come in, and we knew that somebody that wasn't a neocon and somebody that wasn't, you know, so-called with the establishment. We knew that you know, they got in there. And at that point, we kind of, if you look at all the codes and all the little things, little signs that they throw us, the crumbs, whatever you want to call them, we could tell that, you know, military is in control. And I think that to this day, you know, we're still basically our government and our country is being run by the military. And I think it will for some time until we have the you know, quantum elections, you know, like you're talking about the QFS, like, you know, blockchain elections and like all this new technology gets unveiled. So either way, man, it's a great way, I think, and a great time for people to unveil all their blockchain technology. I'm working on mine right now for the music industry. I'm really excited about music, and I'm excited about giving the power back to the artist and the musician. And I think that it's gonna be a great day, man. And we're gonna see something amazing. I think by July 4th, we'll all be setting off fireworks in our yards. Either way, one way or another, something great is about to happen.
Yeah, before we do, because I want to really delve deep into some of the music stuff. Do you have one last thing that you wanted to ask?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that, you know, with everything we're asking questions about, and there's so much of it, the one thing that I think has become abundantly clear is that you know, we're a people driven largely by consensus culture. So people will tend to defer to whatever the other person thinks rather than doing the thinking for themselves. And I'd say that ratio is at least 80%. And
yes,
I don't know how many people are going to snap out of that and how many aren't. And like you said, it's not really at this point. I don't think it's productive to try and facilitate that. You're either going to do it or you're not. But maybe what's to come will create a shift in that arena. But it's important to think for yourself.
I love what you said. That's the greatest way to sum it up. Wow, man, that's a truth bomb right there. If you guys have like an explosion sound effect. No, man. Good Lord. It's crazy, man. But
it is.
You know, when you sit there and think about it yourself, you're like, man, breathe in positivity, exhale, inhale positivity, exhale negativity, because you know that we're dealing with that type of people in society. Like you said, 80%, man. Wow. They're driven on a consensus way of thinking. So
you can almost look at, you know, the jab ratio, and, you know, not everybody. I mean, there are people that didn't want to get it and weighed that. And if they didn't get it, then they couldn't feed their families. They didn't have a backup. They didn't have enough time to process, what am I going to do for a career? But I would say, you know, a lot of people, 70, 80%, you know, it goes along with what he's saying. It goes along with, you know, we talk about NPCs or, you know, non-playable characters, soul, whatever you want to call that.
People,
Joe, I would even state this though. I would say that at least half the country is still unvaccinated.
Yeah,
I think the numbers that we've been told
they may not
are totally false.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I think that I think we're a bigger majority than we think we are. I think that, you know, through television and programming and mass media and like the hypnosis that they try to put on the people, I think we've been told to think a certain way and to believe it, and it's been made to appear, you know, as a certain way. But I think that really the power actually lies in the truth, and the truth is that I think half to maybe over half the population is still unvaccinated. They didn't go for it. I think that 66 to maybe 74% of our populace is conservative. I think that liberalism is a dying cause. I think that you know, in its form that it is now, if liberalism was still really about liberalism, it wouldn't even be this, perverted bullshit that we see now. But I think they make up maybe 6% to 11% of the population. And I think that you still have your 7% of people that'll probably never, ever wake up no matter what. Right. Even when they're shown the facts, even when, the tanks are rolling through the streets, they'll never ever figure it out. And they're lost.
The psychology on both sides, on the left, which is the Overton window is constantly changing, and man, has it shifted hard in the last few years. But on the left, you have fear and self-loathing, and the self-loathing makes you even more fearful, because if you can't trust yourself, you certainly can't trust anyone else. Therefore, more regulation, more laws, more control, and a willingness to be a slave, because it's a safer thing to do than to have to make your own decisions. And then on the right, you got people that are motivated by balance, family, things of that nature itself, and accomplishment. So when they're confronted with fear, which is the intent would be to provoke them into a leftist response, you get a different response, which is to conquer that fear, because that's where the accomplishment is. And I think that typifies each side of the equation pretty well.
Very well said.
Very well said. Again, man, where are the bombs? Got to get some sound effects, man. Dropping the bombs, man.
We're working on it. Maybe we'll get that when our XRP goes up. That's another thing. I think we joke around this. We joked around that our show made $1 million, which it didn't. We don't. What we want to let people know, just because you have a successful show, we're not like making a living off this, but this is a full-time job. So
we share a sandwich every month, from the kind people that have reached out and supported us, and we thank you for that.
Yeah. So
it's a good sandwich.
We do want to let people know. Yeah, the support is massively appreciated. We have a Patreon, because we didn't realize this would turn into a full-time job, but it is, because you want to bring the best content, the best guests, and have good questions and
the most truth.
Yeah. So I mean, it's amazing. So I don't know. We just want to throw that out there. But let's delve into the music, because I want you to talk about let's talk. I want you to talk about NFTs, because I think Scott and I are both a little confused on those. We've heard things like they're great. We've heard things that could be money laundering, or it's the new way of art. And then I want to get into how Sound Alive Records is different than its competitors. So those would be two really good things to focus on.
I think the first thing we should do is let's talk about Sound Alive Records. And now, Joe, you've got Freedom Now, which is an amazing record, and we ran that through the pipeline, and we're getting ready to run your next single. But on top of that, we have a plethora of new music and new acts and new things that are about to be released on Sound Alive Records. And what makes us different, let's say, from a DistroKid or CD Baby or TuneCore, is that if you look at traditional distribution, they only sell your music in the US and Canada. Sound Alive Records, we are partnered with a much larger system, to where we basically distribute your music all over the world, 264 territories worldwide, thousands of stores, okay? And every continent, I guess, besides Antarctica, if you want to call Antarctica a continent. I heard Antarctica is not even a continent. We'll get into that, flat Earth and, the rest of that stuff another episode. But what I'm saying is that the music, if you are from another country and you want to distribute music, don't you want to come to an actual distributor that can put your music in the country that you actually live in? I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Duh. Then on top of that, we have a really great system of copyright infringement detection technology, which basically, if somebody puts a copy of your song on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneCore, or any other audio platform, it's immediately detected by our system, and we have a couple options. We can pull it, like terminate it, destroy it, or we can monetize it. And instead of the money going into the thief's hands, it can go back into your pockets where it belongs, because it's your intellectual property. You created it. Why should anyone else be able to claim your property and get paid off of it? Lastly, I would say that, we have a great following on social media, and we have many different ways to promote the music, whether it be through a public relations campaign or even just organically through our network. And we have literally over 1 million emails. We've got over 300,000 or 400,000 followers on Twitter, LinkedIn. We've got Facebook. We've got everything. And we go hard for our artists, and we believe in them. And we want them to understand that when they make the decision to work with us, that we decided to work with you. And so that means that, you're in good company. You're in people that actually believe in you. Now, if it's somebody that, hey man, there's not much I think I can do with an artist, or there's not much I feel like I can do to help somebody, I'll tell them, hey man, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's do a little bit of artist development. Let's fix these things. Let's dot our I's and cross our T's. And then we can throw the music back out there and kind of, throw a few more worms in the pond and see what we can fish out. We're fishing for, prize bass, lobsters, sharks, tuna, porcupines, and things of that nature. So we're not looking for boots, cans, and old tires. Okay.
Picturing old Popeye cartoons or something like that.
Yeah. So mentioning Popeye, think of this, man. Okay, if you want to distribute your record, are you gonna go and just throw it out there, or are you gonna go to Sound Alive Records and down a can of spinach and let your arms turn into catapults? You know what I mean? Either way, no. Sound Alive Records, we're doing great things right now, and we're also going to be powering the arm of my new company, which is Distro Mint. Now, Distro Mint is a little bit different. It is basically traditional music distribution like you would get from Sound Alive Records, even though we're not kind of traditional. We're more like major label distribution for independent artists. But then at the same token, we also tokenizing your music at the same time. So you can create NFTs, and you can do something as simple as memorabilia, a t-shirt sale, or collectibles, or fantasizing your product, or it could be as serious as ownership of your music, your art, and your intellectual property on the blockchain. So there's many different uses for NFT, non-fungible token. And that's where I think people get it confused. They don't understand what an NFT actually is.
Right.
And that's because people have been scammed over and over and over again through these little JPEGs. And some people say, hey, my JPEG's worth $75,000. Good for you, bub. Okay. But you got Joe Schmo over here, and he's selling 10,000 JPEGs for $50 a piece. And then the value of the token goes down, and now they're worth 50 cents a piece, and everybody's lost all their money. Well, this guy just made a fortune. You know what I mean? So I get the whole the gist, but people have to understand that when you actually take your intellectual property, whether it be art in a visual form, art in the audio form, art in the cinema form, film, even a podcast, and you tokenize it, you're actually protecting it, and you're making it authentic. And if you produce one, then you have one in one, and that's one copy of that ownership and that legitimate actual product right there. Now, if you create 1,000 copies of it, well, you've taken that one product and you've given it 1,000 values. And if the value is so great that 1 in 1,000 is worth a lot of money, then so be it. It really all depends on what the value you bring to the table and the value you can put on your product and so forth. But what I want to get to as far as tokenizing and creating NFTs is, here's the catch. If you think about it right now, Spotify only counts your play as a play if the listener listens for 30 seconds or better. So what about somebody who listens to your song for 29 seconds or 28 seconds or 27 seconds? What happens? Well, it's not a play. So they don't have to pay you. They don't have to give you their fraction of a penny that they're supposed to pay you for every play. On YouTube, it's even worse. It's like 90 seconds. What if you could tokenize your art? So now it's on the blockchain. It's an NFT. And you have a streaming service that you can send it to that measures the volume of your what is it called? The volume of your earnings.
Right.
Let's just say that by per second instead of per stream or per view. Okay, so now you're getting paid a fraction of a cryptocurrency token per second. And now you're not missing out on money. And so if somebody comes and listens for 29 seconds, you still get paid for 29 seconds. If they come and listen for 5 seconds, you get paid for your 5 seconds. And now this unrealized money that you haven't been earning, you're now earning that. Monetization. That's what the word I wanted to use. Oh, you're monetizing, but you're monetizing in a much smarter way. Okay. And that can be done with microtransactions or nanotransactions, tiny little fractions of a penny. And that's why I'm saying, man, that's why I'm working with the BSV blockchain right now, because you can take a Satoshi, which is a fraction of a Bitcoin or a BSV, and you can divide that 100 times or 1,000 times. So you have micro little tiny nanotransactions, XYZ, and it costs nothing to record them and to send them. They happen in a fraction of a second, and you're able to actually monetize on a much more transparent and a much fairer way, to which cuts out the middleman, and it also gives you the true value for what you're actually earning as an artist. And if artists actually started earning what they actually should be earning, I think they'd be more incentivized.
Yeah,
incentivized to actually create good music. Right now, artists are just making music that they know their bosses are going to be like, okay, yeah, we can market this, we can push this, we can, throw this bone out to the dogs. They don't care. It's just a bone. You know what I mean? We want people to actually care about what kind of bones they're being thrown, Yeah,
well, just on that note, like Steve and I, my producer, each song, and this is why I only do a few right now, because it's over 100 hours on each song. We really put our heart and soul, and this is something else. My brother and I have talked about this. When you're doing projects, I think this is for any artist, you whip something together, or you spend a lot of time on it, whatever that an artist puts in. Like for me, I don't have a lot of live musicians to play with up in the Northwest. Most of them are not red pilled. I want to work with people that are. And so, but this song that we're working on, it's in 432 hertz. We're gonna do an Atmos mix for it. Steve has created sounds because there weren't a lot of sounds to pull from, because a lot of them were in 440. And so we went really deep on this. So this is a culmination of, Steve's some 50 some years on the planet, and him and I talking about another reason we waited a couple years to do a song is because I didn't learn enough about 432 hertz. Nick Alvarez talked about it. And but yeah, it's like we get to combine all these thoughts and these lessons and learnings into this song, and we're really proud to present it to the people, and to go through you as someone that's talking about quality, because I'd rather put out one song that people actually want to listen to than 10 that get, how many songs get released a day, Smitty? There's so much music out there. I think for me that's a hesitancy, because there's so much music that's out there.
So much music that you have so many hobbyists crowding the marketplace, and you have so many artists that are just not good, and they're crowding the marketplace. And I think when we get back to this consciousness, like this 432 hertz that you're talking about, that's music on a healing level and on a consciousness And that's how music was intended to be created. And what they did is they removed that frequency from the music. And that's when they started, programming the minds of the masses, through music and through entertainment media. Music in Hollywood is basically the mind control arm of the cabal.
Right.
And as long as they've controlled that, they've controlled people. I mean, this goes way back. You know what I mean? And then every now and then you get somebody and they're just like making music straight from the heart and soul. And they're like, changing the frequency. And that's when they say, oh, got to turn that switch off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think we're at a place now where it's going to be a lot more safe to make music and make it how it should be made. And I think that will drive the new revolution of music. We're probably entering into, I would say, over the next 10, 15 years, we're going to go through a music renaissance all over again. And it's going to be amazing. We're going to have so much beauty in the music, and people may even go back to buying tapes, cassettes, and vinyl and things of that nature, along with owning the NFT, which is like a smart contract on the internet and says, hey, I'm the owner of this. I'm the rightful owner. And the contract can't be burned. It can't be destroyed. You can't lose it in a flood or a fire,
Right.
And that's what this new technology does. Here, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
We might get cut off and I might have to chop back in, but I want to show you guys, first of all, what I'm doing here. So here goes nothing. We'll start with Sound Alive Records. Boom. Tell me if you guys can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the Sound Alive Records here. For anybody that wants to distribute music on Sound Alive Records, all you got to do is you need to go click that button, sign up now, or go to plans and pricing, and you can pick your distribution package. I still am doing mixing and mastering for independent artists. So we got mixing, mastering. We have a radio campaign, which is great, and then a public relations campaign. Basically, if you want to get your music and your story written up and published in various media outlets, we do that as well.
And
now let's flip over.
I want you to explain to people this part real quick, because because you used to have it per song or per album.
Yeah.
Let them know on the gold is US and Canada, and the diamond is everywhere in the world. But they can this is forever. They can take all their old music,
forever.
all their future, all of it can go.
No yearly fees.
Right.
No fee per release. From DistroKid to TuneCore to CD Baby, they have all these additives that they can give you, from YouTube monetization to this, that, and the third, and you have to pay extra for it per release. We cover all that, and you have a choice. You can distribute unlimited music for the rest of your life here, USA, Canada, or you can do it worldwide. If you do it worldwide, it's going to 264 territories around the world in thousands of different stores. So I mean it's a huge advantage, and if you think about it, if you release like 10 albums on various different platforms, or you've got a bunch of music, you're going to pay a lot less. We also give you guys 90% royalty. We only take 10% as basically just for handling everything. We have to upload everything. We have to do all the background work, the leg work. It's a lot of work. And we also make sure that your music is able to be monetized in all different realms, and that you have that copyright infringement, that intellectual property infringement detection technology,
right,
so that nobody can steal your work, and that it's streamlined and it allows you to continue to earn. So that's one of the most important things. Now, moving over to this is DistroMint, and this is my new platform on the blockchain that I'm building right now. And now Sound Alive Records is powering the distribution for this platform. However, it is it's a very amazing platform, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. As you can see, we've got some of the NFTs up here, some of the fresh new music. I think we're wigging out again.
Yeah.
Did you guys lose my screen, or you guys still have it?
Your screen's good. Your little picture is doing its thing, but people are focused on this screen anyway.
Yeah.
So you're fine. Keep going.
So when you sign up for DistroMint, basically you're just going to hit sign in, and from there you're going to connect your Handcash wallet. Now you can go and to Google or iPhone, like go to your apps or whatever, and just download the Handcash app, and then from there you'll click on connect your Handcash wallet. A little QR code will pop up. You scan it with your phone. Boom, you're in. You can set up your profile. And then you can immediately start uploading NFTs and music for distribution. So the thing that's great about DistroMint is that you can do your music distribution and your NFT minting all on one platform. And I think that is going to change the game. I've also based it off of major record label distribution dashboards, so that this technology will be adapted and used by all the major record labels and the intermediaries as well, so we can make them get on board with what we're doing. So that's the way I built it. If you click on 4 artists, you'll be able to kind of see just a little synopsis of what we're doing. This is what we've done at Sound Alive. We've done 100 million streams, 500 million social engagements, 1,000+ songs distributed, which is awesome. Create NFTs for your fans, distribute music to everyone everywhere. Our promise to you is to give you all the available necessary tools to bring about a fruitful music career and reclaim your rights as an artist to distribute and sell your music to the world, and decide how you want to be compensated. So look, if you still want your music in Spotify, Tidal, TuneCore, you can do that. If you want to earn immediately and it be a peer-to-peer transaction, then you create your NFTs and your buddy signs in with his Handcash wallet and he's like, I'm buying your NFT. Well, boom, you're paid immediately. And it's money going from his pocket straight to yours. So, I mean, you have the best of both worlds. And like I said, I built the background dashboard and the interface to match major record labels and distributors. And I'm going to sell it back to them. They're going to come to me and they're going to be like, well, Smitty, you own the patent. And I do own the patent. I patented this technology last summer, about a year ago. I'm working with N-Chain right now to perfect the patent, and they've been so helpful and amazing. And I do want to make a big shout out to my brother and my business partner, Kristen Ager Hansen. I also want to shout out to Calvin Air and to Stephen Matthews and my whole team at N-Chain and Asset Layer, to Roman and to, the media arm of CoinGeek, Kurt Wuckert and Rebecca Ligero Fontana, everybody who supported. And I've got a huge support system, period, and amazing people who have helped me make this happen.
Wow.
I spoke about it I don't know, it was like maybe 2008, and I was getting fucked over by Universal, and I was like, man, I hate this damn industry. I said, one day I'm going to take over this goddamn industry. I'm going to take over this whole thing. And everything is just now kind of like coming together. So we've got a lot of great partners. We've got a lot of great things going on. Sound Alive Records is still here. We're not going anywhere. But with the ability to bring this new blockchain technology and then couple it with the traditional music distribution, I think that we'll be able to do some amazing things. I'm going to unshare my screen now. How do I do it? Stop share.
Yeah, just hit stop share.
Back to the conversation. Okay. Boom. So there you have it. I would love, and I do encourage people in the meantime to come to Sound Alive Records and distribute music before DistroMint launches. We're trying to launch on the 1st of July, but I mean, who knows? We've been going through some security protocol issues and testing and so forth, penetration testing, basically seeing how the site can be hacked and how it can be, so this is like, the next level of stuff. So, I mean, we got to make sure everything is right. And then on top of it, we're getting the legal framework work together, the terms and conditions and things of that nature. And that's a lot of work as well. So, I mean, every day I'm working on this project, and every day I'm still doing my thing as a producer, engineer, and working in the music industry and then running Sound Alive Records. And I've got a great team there as well. My general manager, Miss DJ, my Northeast manager, Mike Kiviat and Mark and Greg and all my guys. So, I mean, we've got a really, really amazing team, and we got a really strong thing going on, and you know, we're just going to keep building this. So regardless, though, you know, I think I'm really excited for music. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the show, the movie, you know, everything that we've been experiencing. And I think it all kind of like goes hand in hand. I think it's an amazing time. And, you know, I see nothing but greatness in the future for all of us, man.
I'm excited to work with you, and appreciate the timing of you reaching back out to me was divine, because I was trying to figure, you know, what am I going to do? And you answered a lot of great questions for me, and now you're able to bring that here to the viewers. So we're a little over an hour. We'll wrap this up, but we're definitely going to have you back, because I know you have a lot more in-depth stories into the entertainment industry in the future. And anything you want to end with for humanity and musicians and anyone listening?
Hey, man, I just think that now's the time to relax, take a deep breath. Like I said, inhale positivity, exhale negativity, meditate, let go of any past issues, hate, anger, disorders, negative emotions, feelings. Just kind of let it all go, and let's start getting back into being creative, and let's find our creativity. Let's put our body first. Okay, take care of our bodies, so that we can have a healthy mind. And if we have a healthy mind, we can have healthy emotions. And then if our emotions are healthy, we can have a healthy spirit. And I think that all these things kind of intertwine with each other. So, you know, love your loved ones, hug your loved ones. For those who don't know, or those who are a little hard-headed, if you have to, you know, take a step back, take a step back. If you're able to take a step forward, do that. But either way, let's find purpose and passion in everything that we do. And let's continue to raise the bar for humanity. And let's continue to build, you know, amazing things and spread amazing messages, and just keep the energy positive and divine, man. So, I mean, happy Father's Day again to all the fathers out there, and amazing time to be alive. You know, shout out to all the patriots and all the light workers and all the amazing people out there who are, you know, basically giving all that they have inside of their soul to bring you to the next level, the higher vibration, to help you raise your vibration and take you to the next dimension. You know what I mean?
Beautifully said. Well, Smitty, hang out afterwards. We're going to say bye to the audience, and we appreciate
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that'll do it. Thanks so much for your time.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Boom.